Hi, this is my new video. It's not a musical, but a theologian one. I want to bring, to reflect the great prophets, especially Nostradamus and Edgar Cayce.
Is that there would be the onset of major earth changes that would escalate in activity from 1958 on through 1998. From that period on, these trends, they would escalate again, then we would know that the pole shift was coming.
Haverá agitações no Ártico e na Antártida que provocarão erupções vulcânicas nas áreas tórridas. Começarão em 1958 e em 1998.
Volcanic activity events are increasing. Torrid zone activity has increased along with general world increase by something like 500% in the last 50 years.
Cayce também previu mais tempestades violentas e terremotos nesse período. Nos últimos 10 anos, os furacões no Atlântico estiveram em seu nível mais elevado. E muitos terremotos foram detectados em todo o mundo. Em 1999, pesquisadores alemães mediram mais de 200 terremotos acima do Círculo Ártico em 7 meses. Será que Cayce, Shipton, Nostradamus, os Maias e os Hopis leram o mesmo livro de profecias?
People from different cultures seem to have been able to tune into a kind of universal mind. That same level that Nostradamus and Edgar Cayce seem to have been able to tune into also.
O mundo que conhecemos irá terminar?
Some disaster with our skies, with our crops, with our rising oceans, they all can basically agree on that. They may emphasize one aspect more than others, but they all share the fact that we are entering a period of evolutionary crisis.
So many different prophetic traditions have talked about times of destruction, times of dire cataclysm, death, devastation. More than anything, those predictions are a wake-up call for all of us as individuals, as a nation, as a world, to look at our relationship to the earth, to nature, and to our relationship with each other.
Por mais terríveis que pareçam suas profecias sobre a Terra, Cayce acreditava em viver no presente. Acreditava também, como Nostradamus e aqueles que o precederam, que podemos mudar o futuro. Em 1939, como Cayce havia previsto, a Segunda Guerra Mundial irrompeu. Em 1941, os Estados Unidos entraram no conflito. Cada vez mais pessoas escreveram ou foram até ele com perguntas sobre o destino de entes queridos que lutavam no exterior.
Edgar, in his own readings, was reminded to give not more than 2 a day, one in the morning and one in the afternoon, because each psychic reading was emotionally draining to a system. Well, Edgar Cayce could not say no to people, and that ultimately brought his downfall, because by the summer of 1944, he was giving 7 and 8 readings a day.
Em setembro de 1944, Edgar Cayce estava esgotado e sofreu um derrame. Veio a falecer em 3 de janeiro de 1945 em Virginia Beach e foi sepultado em sua cidade natal, Hopkinsville, Kentucky. Do lado de fora do cemitério há uma placa de bronze em testemunho de seu trabalho, mas para muitos ele foi mais do que um grande profeta.
Relegating Edgar Cayce to the place of someone who simply predicted the future makes Edgar Cayce an event. And in my opinion, the material is so helpful, so valuable, that it's much more a source of information that help people in the here and now.
He isn't any one thing. That is, you can't stick him in a box and label it mystic. You can't stick him in a box and label him psychic. You can't stick him in a box and label him prophet. At the end of the day, Edgar Cayce's readings are not about whether he was right or wrong about Egyptian or Atlantean history, or whether there even was that kind of history. I think at the end of the day, what matters is that he helps us to better understand who we are and why we're here.
Atualmente, o material de Cayce continua a trazer insights sobre todos os assuntos. Como todos os grandes videntes, ainda nos resta saber como o futuro irá se desenrolar.
Old worlds shall die and new be born.
Was she foreseeing the future or simply imagining it?
Prophets, if they were archers, what they would do is shoot an arrow into the wall and then have somebody paint a target around it. They let out this vague kind of statement that could be read multiple ways, and they rely on their hearers to put the interpretation into it that fits best for them.
There is another seer whose chilling predictions continue to echo down the centuries. He is Saint Malachi, canonized in 1190. Malachi was a reforming Catholic prelate born in Armagh in 1094. On a visit to Rome, he was struck by a vision. Before him appeared a series of Latin phrases identifying the 111 popes who would rule the Catholic Church until the end of time.
He uttered 111 Latin mottos, which are supposed to represent the nature, the name or destiny, or the coat of arms of every pope until Judgment Day.
Many of the phrases are considered too precise to be the results of chance. John the 23rd, the 107th pope in the prophecy, is referred to as Pastor et Nortam, priest and sailor. Before becoming pope in 1958, he was the Patriarch of Venice. Paul VI is Flos Floram, flower among flowers. His coat of arms is a lily among lilies.
John Paul II, who is called De Labora Solis in the prophecies, which means the sun's eclipse, the sun's labor. He is the only pontiff on the list that was born on an eclipse and later entombed during an eclipse.
And the 111th, the final pope in the prophecy?
De Gloria Olivae, from the glory of the olive. That's the current Benedict XVI.
At the end of the list, Malachi is said to have uttered a final doom-laden phrase, this one unnumbered.
During the final persecution, the seat of the Holy Roman Church will be occupied by Peter the Roman, who will feed the sheep in many tribulations, after which the seven-hilled city will be destroyed, and the terrible judge will judge his people. The end.
Is Malachi describing the end of the Catholic Church, or the end of the world? Is Peter the Roman the last pope who will follow the current pontiff, Benedict XVI? Some experts consider that since the motto is
the existence of a
unnumbered,
universal record of events has been taught. Religious writings of India, thousands of years old, present the Akasha as a dimension of reality on which every deed, thought, and feeling is imprinted throughout time. In the ancient language of India called Sanskrit, the word Akasha first meant radiance and later took on the meaning luminous space. A transcendent reality in which everything can be recorded is also described in the Bible. In the Book of Life, everything has been inscribed, a book of God's remembrance. In more modern times, visionaries and clairvoyants have reminded us of the reality of these subtle energy patterns. The Austrian-born philosopher Rudolf Steiner could see spiritually an eternal summation of all historical events, what he called the Akashic Chronicle. Although Steiner felt these records were often difficult to interpret, they were for him as certain as our mountain ranges and rivers for the eye. The Akashic records of the past provide an accumulation of each soul's talents, experiences, inclinations, and desires. These patterns of soul memory, called karma, largely govern the process of reincarnation, the learning cycle of death and rebirth, always in human form, according to Cayce. The Akashic records of the future embody an ever-changing array of possibilities and potentials. They are the shadows of things which may yet come to be, but totally dependent upon our